a small town, population about 6,000 to 8,000 people, and most of the men, the young men, went to the services, so there were never very many men around, but I kept seeing the posters that said, how are you helping the war effort? And I kept thinking to myself, am I helping the war effort? And then I thought, no, I'm really not doing anything. I'm only just going to school. So I decided that I would go and see if I could get a job related to the war. So I knew a girl that worked at the telegraph office, and she came out to the front door one day when I was going by, and I said, "Oh, Isabel, you don't have any jobs here, do you? Because I'd like to do something for the war effort, and I think maybe telegrams would be a good, and maybe I could learn telegraphy at the time,"
Right.
which I did, but I've forgotten. So I can't really use that on a computer anyway. But so that was very good start. I knew that, and yes, I worked from 8:30 in the morning until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I was allowed to go home for 1 hour. I had to be back at 6 o'clock, and I worked until about 8. I don't know when he closed the shop up, the man that owned it. But anyway, a lot of things happened when you're delivering telegrams. First of all, I had to make enough money. Oh, and I only made $7 a week. That was $1 a day for 8 hours practically. But anyway, I knew that after about a week that I couldn't, my legs wouldn't stand walk, even in the small town, that I had to have a bicycle. So I went to the store and I bought a bicycle, and I got $7, and I think he raised by 50 cents, and I paid for the bicycle $5 there. I gave my mother $2, and my girlfriend, she had already had a bike, and we went every night to have an ice cream cone with the other 50 cents, something like that. But I'll tell you what, besides the fact that I learned how to do telegraphy, and I really enjoyed the working there, except for the messages that I had to deliver, and regardless of what they told me at the start, regardless of what the message says, you are responsible to deliver it. So I agreed. I was the only one. The other girl that I spoke to get the job to start with, she was the one, and she was so glad to be relieved of having to go, and especially when the war had come on. So anyway, if you don't mind being bit by a dog, which I was many times, and chased by dogs, I used to have to go to a place where they had to walk up about 20 stairs to the place, and then when you went in a long hall or empty room, and the dogs, I don't know what kind of dogs they were, but they were gruff and barked and scared the life out of me. So I hated to go there, but that gentleman got a lot of mail, a lot of things. However, the part I did not enjoy was that I knew practically everybody in the town, because I belonged to Presbyterian Church, and it was packed all the time. So I knew all those people, and I dreaded going to any place with a telegram. However, as I say, I was responsible for delivering them. And one day, I'll tell you two little episodes that happened. One day, this lady who lived directly across the street from us, she came into the office about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and her oldest son was overseas, and in Germany, I think, and she wanted to wire him money. So she did, and Mr. Somerville, my boss, took the money and sent it to him. I said to her, "Oh, Mrs. Goetschy, now you've walked all the way from home uptown, so where are you going? Are you going back home, or are you going to stop in some shop?" And she happened to tell me, it was just a sort of a common conversation. She said, "Yes, I'm going to the Beamish store. I haven't been uptown for a long time." Just at that, she walked out of the store and went up to the Beamish store, I guess, or I don't know whether she stopped on the way, but a telegram came in saying her son, Jack, had been killed in action. Now, Mr. Somerville pretty nearly fainted because she had just been in our place. He had taken the money and he had sent it. So anyway, I said, "Well, I don't want to give her the bad news," and he said, "Well, no, but I can't leave the shop, so you gotta go." So I went up. I didn't have the telegram with me, but I went up and I just told her, I met her and I said, "Mr. Somerville would like to speak to you about something about the money going over to Jack." Total lie. But it was the only way I could face it. So anyway, she came down the street with me, and I was just dreading when we got there. But anyway, he told her, and she went, and I think that she got in touch with somebody to, I think, got Mr. Somerville into a bit of trouble because he didn't follow what she thought he should be doing. And she swore that he had known that he had the telegram when she was in there. He did not. I knew that. And there was another girl that worked in the shop with me, and she knew too in the office. She knew that it was all, above board. However, that was one episode. Shortly after that, there was a message came in about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was for over in a place called Anticosti, and it was a section of the town that was quite a piece away, and I definitely needed to go on my bicycle. So I went over there, and I didn't know the lady that was getting it, but her husband had been killed. And when I got there, as I got there, I dreaded going to her house, regardless of whether I knew her or not. But anyway, I thought in my mind, I'm going to go next door to her neighbor, because the houses were pretty close together, and I'll get her to come with me. Maybe that'll soften the blow. So I did. However, that woman was really French, and I couldn't understand what she was saying. But anyway, I told her about the telegram, and I said, "Would you come with me to her?" Well, she sort of hesitated, but she came. Well, Mrs. or the lady, I forget, she was a Polish lady, and she had a Polish name, so can't really remember what her name was, but she just broke down right there, and I didn't know what to do, and try to comfort her. Only a 16-year-old trying to comfort her. So anyway, apparently she went right directly to her priest. They were very good Catholics. And she reported that a 16-year-old should not be, left with this responsibility of delivering telegrams.
It must have been hard.
It was terribly hard. So anyway, and she said that besides that, the lady that I went to get next door, apparently she was on the outs with her.
Yeah.
Bad decision,
Well, you didn't know.
Bad decision on my part.
Well, you were trying to do the right thing.
Well, I was trying to do the right thing. It didn't matter what the message said. I was responsible for delivering it.
But you were saying you were saying that you were always nervous that one day, was there ever a letter or name that you knew?
Jack Ochi lived right across the street.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Jack and Tom,
Yeah.
his youngest brother, and my kids played together and everything like that. Well, Tom played with Tom. Jack was a little older, but yes, oh yes, we had a lot of cousins and things like that.
And people from the church, names.
And people from the church, yeah.
And you had your father and your brother were
and my
overseas.
father and brother, and every time a telegram came in, of course, that was the first thing I thought, oh Lord, please don't make it my dad or my brother. But anyway, that was fortunate.
I remember you saying to me that you wondered if people were nervous when they saw you coming.
Oh, yeah. I was known as the lady or the girl who you avoided, and you walked. If you saw her coming up the street, you went the other side of the street, just in case she had a bad message for you.
Right.
And
I'm sorry about
never
that.
happened anyway. But no, it wasn't a pleasant job, but I got through it all right. And
do you think? I don't know if you could answer this, but do you have a sense of how many times you had to do it?
well, those were the two that I remembered because I felt that I had made an error somewhere along the way. Oh gosh, I had telegrams to deliver practically to every person that was overseas, like to their family, but not saying they were
died.
We're great, we're doing fine, don't worry, Mom.
Well, this was before the internet, and
oh yes,
and letters took forever, so telegrams were the fastest way to do it.
Oh, that was a busy spot.
Right.
Like I really felt that I don't know. I was sad all the time. I got bit by dogs and I got chased by.
You were the epitome of you were just the messenger. They're saying don't shoot the messenger.
That's right. But the years that went by, I still keep in touch with the girl. She's in the nursing home in.
Oh really?
Belleville.
No, Belleville. Okay.
Yeah, she's in the nursing home in Belleville. This was one of the girls that worked. The other girl that worked in the office.